Welcome to GuideMia. Today we're going to talk about Make Dental Model, the Cympha Studio tool that turns a thin shell arch scan into a closed solid with a flat base. This one is for clinicians and lab designers holding a typical intraoral scan, open underneath, who need a printable arch model from a chairside scan, a placeholder solid for a demo or teaching session, or stub data for a missing arch. By the end you'll know where the command lives, how to aim the extrusion with the on-screen arrow, what the Create dialog asks you to confirm, where the new solid lands in the scene, and the one important warning about when not to use this tool. Follow along in Studio, or listen now and read the written guide later. First, the mental model. Make Dental Model takes a thin shell, an intraoral arch scan with no underside, or any mesh with a free rim around its perimeter, and extrudes that open boundary along a direction you choose, down to a cut plane, producing a closed solid with a flat base. The open rim is the raw material. A fully closed mesh has no rim for the extrusion to follow, so this tool needs a shell. And one expectation to set straight: if you came looking for a tool that draws an arch from nothing, laying down a curve and synthesizing tooth shapes along it, that's not what Studio does. The arch curve you may have seen in the CBCT viewer is a different feature, used to drive the panoramic view. Make Dental Model builds a solid from your scan, not from scratch. If you genuinely need a fully synthetic placeholder arch with no scan input, reach out through the contact page. That's a workflow the team can help with directly. The prerequisites: a mesh added to the scene the usual way, add model, open optical scan file, drag and drop, or a link, STL, PLY, or OBJ. A scan that is actually a thin shell with an open boundary, that free rim is what the solid is built from. And no GuideMia Ortho Plus case loaded. This one carries an extra warning beyond the usual menu visibility rule. The Create dialog itself says, explicitly, for GuideMia Ortho Plus, do not make solid models. The planner relies on the original tooth-by-tooth shells, and turning them into closed solids breaks that workflow. So standalone added meshes are the supported target. If you're inside an Ortho Plus case, stop and use the case's own tools instead. Sign into studio.cympha.com and open your scan. Right-click directly on the mesh body, empty space won't open the menu, and the menu title confirms the file name. Make Dental Model sits at the top level of the cleanup tools, alongside the other standalone mesh commands. If it isn't there, the usual cause applies: a full GuideMia case is loaded, clear the scene and right-click again. Clicking the command opens a small dialog with 4 things in it: a hint, drag the blue arrow tip on the model, anchored at its center. Create builds a new solid from the boundary rim along the arrow to the cut plane at the tip. The explicit Ortho Plus warning we just covered. The name of the source mesh you right-clicked. And the Create and Cancel buttons. Here's the sequencing that matters: don't click Create yet. The dialog stays open while you aim the arrow in the 3D view, and the aim is the whole job. The arrow widget is the heart of the tool. Its base is anchored at the centroid of the mesh, and it starts pointing straight down in a fresh session. If you used the tool earlier in the same session, it remembers the previous direction and length, so a follow-up arch reuses your setup. Dragging the blue tip sets 2 things at once: the direction of the extrusion and its length. Direction: point the arrow away from the open side of the shell. For an upper arch held occlusal up, that means pointing upward, toward the open boundary. The solid extrudes from the rim along the arrow. Length: the tip defines a cut plane perpendicular to the arrow, that's where the flat base will sit. A short arrow gives a shallow base, a long arrow a deep plinth. The scene re-renders as you drag, preview freely, orbiting whenever you need a better angle to grab the tip. Why an arrow? Scans arrive in every orientation. Studio doesn't guess a down direction, you state it in one gesture. With the arrow aimed and sized, click Create. Studio shows the global busy cursor while it computes, and then, and this is different from every repair command in the toolkit, the result is added as a fresh mesh in the scene. Your original scan is not replaced, both meshes are now present, the thin shell and the new closed solid. The status line confirms with added dental base mesh, plus the number of points in the new solid. In the models list on the top toolbar, the new mesh appears with a derived name, typically the source name with dental base appended, like upper arch dental base, and a unique numeric suffix if that name already exists. Because they're independent, you can toggle the 2 meshes separately from the models list or the eye icon, and usually you'll hide the original shell and keep just the solid for export. Inspect the result against 4 checks. The rim of the new solid should sit flush against the open boundary of your scan, no gap, no overlap. The sidewalls should follow the arrow direction you set. The flat base should sit exactly at the height of the arrow tip. And the status line should have confirmed the add, with a point count. If all four hold, you're done building. From here you can add more scans with Add Model, export the solid via download if your workflow uses that, or save the whole project, Save Project from the hamburger menu, which writes the CYP project file and keeps both meshes, shell and solid, together for next time. For printing, the solid is the deliverable, the original shell is your record of what was actually scanned. The sticking points, quickly. Make Dental Model isn't on the menu, a guide Mia case is loaded, clear the scene. Studio reports empty mesh geometry, the mesh you right-clicked has no points, which usually means the file failed to parse, re-import it. Could not start Dental Model mode, the viewer wasn't ready when you clicked, wait a beat after loading and right-click again. The arrow tip won't grab, it's occluded by mesh geometry, orbit the camera until the blue tip is in clear view, and the drag works. The new solid clips through the scan, the arrow direction was off, delete the solid from the models list and run the tool again, pointing the arrow away from the exposed front surface, toward the open boundary side. A fully closed scan gives a degenerate result, no rim to build from, skip the tool, or trim with the brushes first to expose a clean boundary. And inside an Ortho Plus case, honor the dialog's warning, use the case's own tools. That's the whole tool, shell in, aim one arrow, solid out, 30 seconds to a minute once you know it, with most of that spent placing the cut plane exactly where you want the base. It pairs naturally with the rest of the mesh toolkit in this series. Repair the scan first with Fix Model or the brushes, then build the solid last, when the surface is final. And if the base lands at the wrong height, don't fiddle, delete the solid, drag the tip once more, and rebuild, the arrow remembers everything else for you. The written version, with the exact dialogue text, the Ortho Plus warning, and every troubleshooting case, is at cympha.com. Open Docs and find how to build a solid dental model from a scan. Subscribe if you're following the series, every Cympha workflow, one lecture at a time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.